You can see why I pay this guy pies per wheelbarrow full and not pies per hour. He'd be breaking the supply. This Canada Jay's got to learn that you snooze, you lose. Gives it any time at all, Jim eats it. Fortunately, the first days after we put our chicken carcass out there, it was so cold that the Canada Jays took a long time to get their craw fill, so they had this thing to pick over for the whole time we were there. You can see that he's taking quite a while here to get, finally he'll get stuff full enough and he'll give up and take off. Well, Jim's been here to help me. He hauls the wood and I split it. I'm getting quite a bit of it laid in, which is really I didn't know if I'd be able to do it or not. It's been like, I think 34 days ago, my doctor took out my Dupuytren's contracture in here, and he cut it all in through here, and he got my hand freed up so I can straighten it out. I've been splitting wood out here all week, so doing really good, Doc. Thank you. Also, I got a new, some of the tools I've been bringing up here to add to our tool arsenal for building that log cabin and dragging things around. And I brought a regular logging tongs up, but also I brought this lighter duty thing along. And I thought it'd be great for when I'm hauling little logs out from my corduroy roads and grab hold and not have to bend down and haul things with my hands. And it's worked out really well. I'll show you. I'm going to go over here now. I got some pieces of wood over here laying half in the snow, and instead of having to dig down there and get them, I'm going to go grab one like this. I can bring it over, plop it down where I want it, go to work, and you have to grab hold of all that ice and snow. We had all that wind damaged wood, trees and wood last summer, and now we just keep whacking away a little bit of it, splitting it up. Had that big log laying in there, and you see the big root ball standing up, but there's a lot more of them in there that we're going to get in the next couple of years. The solar panel stand that I put in last fall is really working out well. Today's February the 24th, so the sun's a lot higher in the sky than it was at New Year's. But it's 11 o'clock now in the morning, and The sun's been hitting those panels for quite a while, and it's got quite a few more hours to go before it hits some shade over to the west. Nice thing is that I scraped the snow off when I got here, and there was still kind of a crust on there, but even when it was 0 or really cold, it was enough heat that it cleared off the glass really nice, and not having any trouble at all, having all the power we need. Made a good amount of sawdust this trip right here in this spot. Get a lot of that Alaskan sawmill milling, and got a bunch of other wood worked up. And some of the tools I got to use this time. First, Jason sent me up a pouch just before I came up on this trip, and it was very timely. Now this was put together by a woodsman, okay? And everything, I mean, here you got your scrinch for doing all your adjustments with your chainsaw, and you lose them all the time. So he went to the trouble, he got this painted up orange for me. Got a carabiner that's hanging right there in your hip all the time. That way you don't leave them laying around the woods too much. He had an assortment of files in here, and made these nice hickory handles on there that really, you know, really worked well. Use them. Oh, and especially used, well, if we saw that cutting earlier, maybe later, we're using the plastic wedges for the felling trees. It's something I really should have had. I never have had any of these, Jake. So it's timely that you sent these, because I got more trees to topple, and it's a lot better banging these. A little easier in your saw chains if you mess up. And oh, he just sent me there was some extra nuts for your chainsaw sidebar. You're out in the woods and you lose one of those or two, then your day's done. So it's just, he knew what to have. I got a spark plug in there for a Husky saw, so I just this kit was just so well put together, I had to mention it. So thank you, Jason. Going to good use. We were not exactly hitting the work really hard this trip, but we did get some things done as we move along in the progress on the old cabin, the new cabin. We used that Grandberg Mark IV mill to cut up those planks out of the tamarack and got them laid into the floor here. Sure nice having a nice smooth floor in there, and maybe now people will quit commenting how when I'm over cooking and walking back and forth, the floor's going squawk, 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 and you're like, fix that floor, please. Well, I did. Of course, food plays a big part in our enjoyment as we're around that old log cabin. And when Walleye Don came out and left that nice supply of walleye fillets, that powered us up for a lot of good times out hiking and what work we were getting done. In an effort to burn off at least some of those calories that we were constantly consuming there at the cabin, between Bonnie's world famous pies and Don's walleye and roast chicken and of course our chocolate puddings, we'd head out into the country every day for several hikes. There was never any lack of a different variety of trees or swamps or beaver dams or wherever we wanted to walk. And we'd walk along, and we'd, like here, I told you it was cold, and this spruce grouse, no, it was a rough grouse. It must have spent a while down in that hole snow roosting. And then here is where Jim got me to go out and find a trail into this. This is the place where the beavers have moved to now. They always rotate, and this is kind of hard to get to, but he tricked me into getting a trail in there. It was worth it, though. Here I can see this is where the otters, before the last little snow, they'd been out there playing around quite a bit. And then when Jim went in later, he found this tree that the beavers, and beavers are smart, but sometimes they do some things that don't make any sense, and I got to go back and check this stump out later to see what they were up to. Sunset was never really the end of our day, because as the sun would set, we could sit out in the yard, and every once in a while you might hear a wolf. And then we were there towards the end of our trip, the full moon was coming up really nice, and we had some clear nights, and we just had a plan that we got up, in fact we headed out, and we were going to do a walk in the moonlight, and I was going to get some really nice photographs because it was so bright outside. But by the time we got outside that night, the clouds had moved over, so we postponed the major hike to another year in the full moon. But still had a nice enjoyable night.
Everything's locked up.
Yeah.
Windows are covered. Hopefully the bears won't get in.
How's the shoe inventory? I didn't lose any. I had 4 hanging inside. You got 2 there. We can't use that excuse. All shoes accounted for.
Oh, like Bonnie says, a 13.5. How do you lose those?
Yeah, I think she got a point.
Our last pie, cherry.
Actually, they're not the last pie. The last ones we're having here. Jim didn't go out back very much, so he had no idea what a big supply I had. I think I got a couple of apple pies in the pack going out. Now that shouldn't even be, but we'll tap them on the way home.
Yeah, we will. Got a lot done, Mark. Saw a wolf, deer.
Tell them about your wolf.
Yeah, I was sitting on the throne, the big chair out there, and looking down the alley to another trail, and a wolf several meters or several yards from me ran across in front of me. Definitely didn't want anything to do with me, but it was a good sighting. Didn't really hear anything except for maybe the first night. Other than that,
if you remember, he saw that from what I call the high throne out there. Really a nice spot for wildlife, but I've never got to see a wolf from that spot.
Yeah. Sit there and look down that alley that you made and be surprised what you see, probably.
Boy, he's all shuttered up. We're out of food.
Hey, we have a new floor.
We got a new floor in there. Yep, shiny floor. Got some red-breasted nuthatches tamed down. So that's a real accomplishment. We did something.
So, we spent most of our time on the trails, but it was fun. It was worth it.
Well, all our people watching in out there, we thank you for following the series. And sad news is this after this session, I might not have anything new from the cabin until June. So you'll have to break out the reruns if you want, or at the end of this video, I'm going to have a link there that's the whole list of what there must be 150 cabin videos now. So you should never check some of them out and go back, or maybe watch your favorites, because I hate to leave you short on a Saturday morning.
Yeah, I agree. Thank you very much for watching. Maybe one of these days we'll meet some of you.
Bring one of the other stars in here.
See if we can get a gray jay up here. Come here, buddy.
I think he's a little big piece. He thinks that's your dinner. Offer your pie.
No, I'm not going to give him my pie.
Here, you want some pie, buddy?
No.
You don't know how to...
Come here. No, I'm not going to give him the pie.
Come on.
See that, Bonnie? See what he's doing to your pies?
I'm just trying to make friends. These guys have been fed so well all week that we can't even get them to come in for pie.
Where's the second one? I hear him. There you go, buddy.
Oh,
hey.
Trying to butter him here. I got pie over here.
Come here, buddy. If you don't come down here, I'm going to eat this.
Same here. Here you go, bud. Come on.
Look, chickadees are making your...
You know, Jim said the other day that he saw a third Canada jay out here. And I think our issue here is this isn't one of our pair. This is one that maybe grew up as a child here and got cast out. Not really tamed down that well.
I don't think he's one of our kids.
I don't think so either. Come on, Jim. Gotta go. Yep. Quit stalling.
See right, later.
Take my one last look and give thanks for such a great place.